Hello everyone, Buddha here, and I am back from a long silence. In case you're wondering, this long silence was due to working. I know work sucks, but I am back to school, and I will have a lot more free time to cast, so I will keep casting. And I actually woke up this morning and said, really, I want to cast some StarCraft because it is awesome. So here I am back, and what triggered the need to cast, I think, was actually that I received an email recently from Gamecom, Plantronics Gamecom. In case you're wondering, I did cast a couple of games from the Plantronics Gamecom Open a while back, and it went really well, and they sent me an email saying, hey Buddha, if you want, we can give you 3 headsets, 1 to keep for yourself and 2 to give away to your viewers as a promo. And I said, yes, please, and that is awesome. So I'm gonna get a free headset, the Gamecom 370, I think. It's not out yet, so I will get them before they are in stores. I will also get 2 additional ones to give to you guys, as I said, that I will be raffling away in some future promo videos. And the only trade-off is that I'm gonna have to put a couple commercials from Gamecom in my videos, but that is fine because they are awesome, giving me free headsets and giving free headsets to you guys, my viewers. So look for those promo videos in the future. Now, this game is Sheth vs. Sjow from the NASL, so it's not a very recent game. It is actually a couple months old, but Sheth and Sjow are 2 great players. You can see Sheth in the purple Zerg here, and Sjow is the red Terran on the spawning at the 12 o'clock position on Metalopolis. This is the NASL version of Metalopolis, so it has a supply depot blocking in the bottom of the ramp, but in addition to that, it also has rocks at the gold base, something you don't usually see in either the GSL or the latter version of Metalopolis. And these rocks don't actually do much, because when you actually want to take that gold base, you will have enough units to actually destroy these rocks really fast, so it won't delay that gold base as much as you would think. The only thing it actually prevents the Terran player from lifting off and going to the gold, as we saw a couple of times on this map. It also prevents the Zerg from getting his first expo here in ZVZ, as I actually saw once before in a pro game. It didn't work out quite well though, so not too big of a deal having rocks there. Sheth did actually go for an expo first. You can see his expo is done before his pool. I wasn't paying too much attention, so he went for expo first, then pool, then gas, because he does not have 100 gas yet. If you go for gas first, you will actually have 100 gas by the time your pool finishes. So an economic opening from Sheth. Meanwhile, Sjow is actually building his command center on the low ground here. It's gonna force probably a bunker, and he did go for that reactor Hellion opening. It is the bread and butter of pretty much every single Terran player right now. So what you do is build your barracks, get your gas, build a factory, and build a reactor on the barracks to swap it with the factory right after, and start making Hellions behind that. You can see that Sjow is going to throw down a bunker, put some Marines in there, and these reactor Hellions, they're not meant to do much damage. If you do end up killing drones, that's great, but what they are meant to do is actually just contain the Zerg player and keep him on 2 bases while you get your own expansion. And it is very effective because obviously the Zerg player will only have Lings, and Hellions are great against Lings because of that huge damage bonus to light units. And the usual response to this is throw up a couple spine crawlers and either tech very fast to lair and mute us, or get a roach warren. You can see that Sheth is actually deciding to get a roach warren right now. So build a couple roaches, chase away the Hellions, and get your 3rd base as soon as you can. Sheth actually has a couple links to scout the front door of Sjow, ready to pounce there. You can see he was just waiting for speed to finish. There he goes. He sees the bunker. He sees 4 Marines, and right now he actually cancelled the roach warren. I don't know why he actually did that. You need roaches to push away the Hellions. The only thing I could see is that Sheth went in here, saw the bunker, and saw 4 Marines at least. He saw a couple Marines go in there, so he actually knows that Sjow is producing more Marines. That means he probably stopped Hellion production, which limits him to 4 Hellions. If Sheth actually deduced that, I don't think he actually saw the buildings up here. He did not run some Lings in, so the only info he saw is the expansion and a couple Marines walking down the ramp 2 at a time. 2 at a time could actually mean that the reactor is back on the barracks. That could be a tell. And actually he saw the barracks up here, so he knows the reactor was built here. The reactor obviously can't lift off, so he knows that the... Okay, so Sheth knows that the barracks is back on the reactor. That means no more Hellions. That means you do not need roaches. That means he threw down 2 Evo chambers, getting Ling upgrades, and is going to chase the Hellions away with Lings and Queens exclusively. And there you go, that's what happened there. See what we did there. That took a while to actually deduce. So great play by Sheth, using his whole brain for that. That was huge. Well, not huge, but that did save him a roach warren, and it did save him a couple roaches. And he actually thought of that very, very fast. That just shows you how experienced these guys are. Meanwhile, in the Harvester tab, we see 43 to 36 Harvesters, both players on 2 bases. These Hellions are not going to stay here for very long anymore. There is starting to be a lot of Lings on the map. They can always surround the Hellions. You can see one Queen is actually throwing down a Creep Tumor. She is going to walk up here and try and deal with these Hellions. One Queen off Creep, though, is not going to be able to deal with these Hellions. One drone making this way is going to actually burn down to its death, but 2 Queens should be able to actually push them back and look for Sheth to actually expand behind this. His lair is finished. His +1/+1 to melee and carapace is almost done. He is getting a macro hatch, so he's looking good, but so is the Terran player. He is throwing down his 3rd command center, going to be able to get a mule off of that. He's actually not going to turn it into an orbital. He's going to get his 3rd base, I'm guessing. There it is. 3rd base already for the Terran player. Very fast 3rd base. And since he did not turn that into an orbital and already has double eBay going for him, I think he's actually going to make a planetary fortress there, which is quite unusual. You usually see Terran players getting a 3rd orbital, especially when they take this 3rd base. When they take the gold as a 3rd, they will get a planetary fortress there. But anyways, it looks like Sjow wants to play it safe and is going to throw down a planetary fortress at the 3rd base. He is going to clean up this little Ling. The Ling will see that the 3rd base is coming, so Sheth will well be aware of this. He is already starting +2/+2, and this very fast +2/+2 with the Baneling Nest, with the Infestation Pit, means that Sheth is actually going to skip mutas in this game and is going to do this strategy that we see a couple of Zergs attempt once in a while. You go for mass upgraded Lings and get your Baneling Nest and your Infestation Pit very late after this. You can hold any early pressure with Lings exclusively, and after your Infestors, you're going to tech up the Hive very fast and get your Ultras behind this. So watch for Sheth to actually tech up with the Infestation Pit quite fast. I expect him to get Hive right when his 3rd begins to be saturated. Meanwhile, it looks like he's actually trying to attack this. I'm not sure this is going to work. The tanks are not sieged, though. If he actually walks in here while the tanks aren't sieged, that might be huge. Sheth just not attacking straight up in this. I don't blame him. I don't think this is going to work. There is not enough Banelings in there. Anyways, I was going to say look for Sheth to actually start his Hive once this 3rd is saturated, and what's great about the Ultras in this case is that they will get all the upgrades from the Lings, and it will make that little ball of Ling Ultra Infestors very powerful and very potent to deal with a lot of Marines. You can just fungal them, and the Ultras clean up so fast with that big Ultra Hug. It goes shoo, shoo, shoo. Sheth going for a 4th. Meanwhile, it looks like he is actually gearing up to attack here. He's making banelings, and there he goes. He's actually going to walk in here. The tanks are not sieged, so this might actually do a lot more damage than it's supposed to. He is going to run up here. Here he goes, getting a nice surround on everything, but a couple Marines might actually be able to micro this back. The banelings not getting the hits that they actually need to get, and they are detonating on the planetary fortress. It's not what you want. Nice control by Sjow, actually, and that just did not do the damage that it needed to do. And Sheth just lost a whole bunch of his army. He really dedicated a lot in this attack. You can see the supply is 118 to 147, so Sjow definitely got the better of that trade. He is now on 3 bases, so is our Zerg player. He got his 3rd base at the same time as the Zerg, though Sheth is already teching up 2 Hive. And what's great about this particular build on Zerg is that you don't actually need to out macro your opponent. Your Ultras should actually take up enough supply, so on even supplies you can actually deal with a nice big Terran army with this build. Although Sheth is behind on supply, he is checking for a 4th right now. He sees that nothing is there, and what is this? It's a dead Marine, so he did find a Marine there and kill him. Meanwhile, it looks like Sjow is going to take out the rocks at the gold base, maybe going to try and eventually take that. Or maybe he's just, there we go, taking out the rocks at the gold base. Don't make me eat my words, Sjow. And Sheth cannot attack into this, just not enough. He is going to have to wait, I think, for the Ultras. Waiting for the Ultras would be a good idea, now that Sjow actually has a medevac that's going to start healing those stimmed Marines. 1 medevac is not going to be enough, though. He's going to need a lot more than that, because that medevac is already out of energy. And Sheth is just patiently waiting at the normal 4th of the Terran player. It looks like he wants to put on some more aggression, but I don't know if this is wise. He might really want to consider waiting for Ultras. He does have Hive Tech and getting Adrenal Glands, so he is going for mass upgraded Cracklings right now. 3-3 is not starting. Has not started, but 2-2 is finished, and the Terran player is just now starting 2-2, so Sheth does have the upgrade advantage, at least for now. You can see that the Ultralis Cavern is started, and there he goes, 3-3 for Sheth. Meanwhile, Sjow is going for a 3rd base. Sheth does look like he's actually going to try and run by here, try to take all these drones out at the natural expansion. This is huge. That is so many SCVs. And that was just 15 workers killed. Boom, just like that. That was actually a small victory. I was going to say small victory, but it's pretty huge. 15 SCVs at this point. You can see that the worker count is now 65 to 76 harvesters in favor of Sheth. And actually catching these Marines off guard, that is actually huge. Now, Sjow losing up about half his army right now, and huge fungals on all the Marines. Going to lose a couple of tanks. I think that was 3 tanks and about half his Marines, and that actually puts Sheth back in the lead supply-wise, and Sheth is really looking good right now. That was a huge mistake by Sjow, really separating his army like that and making it very vulnerable, not sieging his tanks, and Sheth is now back in this game and way ahead in this game, picking off those SCVs and that army. Can't emphasize enough how huge that was. Sjow now realizing that there are no mutas on the field, he is going to start to drop the 5th base, the potential 5th base of Sheth is going to get dropped. There is nothing there, but he is going to walk down the ramp, and these drops are going to be so annoying. He does spawn it, but they are going to be so annoying just because of the lack of mutas. Meanwhile, Shjow's 4th base at the gold base is now done. Look for him to turn that into a planetary fortress, because obviously he turned his 3rd in a planetary fortress. There is no reason that he shouldn't turn his 4th into a planetary fortress. Meanwhile, this drop is actually being picked off. So a nice control by Sheth. These infestors doing huge damage. The medevacs are going to be free to go home. It looks like both these players not paying attention, just idling by up here. They're just chilling out. They're best buddies right now. Look for the medevacs to start healing the lings. And Sheth now, if you look at the unit counting station, he has 2 ultras on the field. He is making one more. He is making 38 lings. He already has 95 on the field. He has 7 infestors, and our Terran player only has 50 marines, 8 tanks, and 6 ghosts. Now ghosts are actually a good choice here. EMPs will be crucial on the infestors. EMPs will negate all the energy on the infestors, so if he can actually get some key EMPs on these, it will prevent fungal growths from going down. It will prevent the Ultralists from actually infestors from locking down the Marines, and the Ultras from cleaning it up. And a snipe on the Ultras is always very, very freaking good. Snipe, this little ability that does 45 damage, and there is no cooldown on snipe, so you can queue up snipes to instantly snipe everything. So if you have enough snipes, you can instantly obliterate a Zerg army. Now both players are maxed, so there is not going to be any more production from now on. We are in this little lull in the game, and it looks like Sheth is actually going to try and break this. He is walking up the watchtower, gonna see what's at the gold base. He doesn't see much, so that might actually trigger him to go inside the gold base and try and bust this, picking off 1 tank with a couple lings. Not a bad trade from Sheth, for Sheth anyways, and he is just banking up resources right now. A little fungal going down on 3 marines, not actually gonna kill them. A couple of infested Terrans gonna be able to utilize that splash damage on the tank, but the marines clean it up before he can do it. Actually, 5th base by Show is forced to be cancelled, and Sheth is actually stuck here. He is going to have to engage this, and I don't know if he should walk up the ramp right now. He should just clean this up. He does have enough, and huge EMPs going down on almost all infestors. Only 1 infestor left with energy. He's actually going to walk up this ramp. 2nd EMP going down, but not doing much. He's actually going to try and kill this planetary fortress, and that's going to work. There it goes. So the 3rd base, huge fungal growth going down on all these marines in the red. That last fungal growth, and actually Show is going to clean this up. Sheth not doing the damage he needed to do, but huge baneling hits, killing about half the remaining Show army. But Sheth could have just cleaned this up easily and then gone for the 4th base. Meanwhile, 1 Ultra and a couple lings still walking inside the natural. 1 tank gonna shoot these marines down. These lings down. This Ultra being a boss, taking down the bunkers, taking down the marines. He's gonna walk up here and say, "Guys, I got this." Start farming the tank, but these snipes just kill him way too fast. You can see the power of the snipe there, not even a chance. And right now, Sheth has just produced 95 lings. Sheth has 99 lings, 100 lings, and 26 baneling eggs. 2 infestors not choosing to get ultras. He did actually get overlord drops. We have not seen him utilize that just yet. Show regaining his 5th base, regaining his 3rd, throwing down 3 more command centers. These can actually serve double purpose. They can either become orbital commands and throw down a bunch of mules and sack a lot of SCVs, so your army becomes that much more powerful. Hold that thought, because Show is actually going to get destroyed here. These banelings just rolling in. The tanks are not sieged, and these banelings, even though they're detonating on tanks, they will be able to clean this up, and there you go. And that was, once again, not what Show wanted. Oh, just not sieging his tanks there was huge. Banelings cleaning up all those tanks actually cost efficiently is not what you want. And I was going to say that these command centers can serve double purpose, turn them into orbital commands. drop down a bunch of mules and sack your SCVs. Or you can just put some planetary fortresses here and go into a split map situation as a Terran. You always love that. Sheth's gonna force to cancel or actually even destroy these command centers, so Sjow losing a lot of resources there. He does have still a huge bank, but now 131 supply, it's gonna be very hard for him to actually remax on this. His gold base is not protected. Meanwhile, Sheth is just making, once again, he has 98 lings, 3 ultras and 5 infestors. I think that Sheth is actually gonna get this game. That is just so sad that Sjow lost all these tanks here and here. Those 2 small pickoffs by Sheth were huge and cost Sjow the game. Really, Sjow will have to pull a miracle if he wants to come back, and I don't think that this is the miracle he's looking for. Walking across the map with this small group of units. I mean, Sjow only has 1 siege tank right now. This small group of lings going to try and pick off this planetary fortress. These banelings are actually going to detonate on the SCVs, and since Sjow did not throw was not able to throw down these 3 command centers, he does not have mules to actually mine from those bases after losing those SCVs, so that is actually a huge deal. 37 to 79 harvesters. Sheth is just looking so good right now, trying to pick off these units. Some nice fungals go down on this small group of units, but Sheth, with his army out of position trying to counterattack, is actually not going to be able to deal with this small group of Marines, Medevacs, and Ghosts, and is actually doing quite a good job. Sjow is doing a good job of attacking everywhere, attacking the 4th, attacking the 5th, killing the 4th from Sheth, but meanwhile Sheth is inside the natural expansion from Sjow. He is killing off tech structures, he is killing off SCVs. Sjow has walled back inside. He is going to snipe these ultras, but that is not enough energy on the Ghost to actually kill off the rest. And Sjow, this is his last resort. Now there are ultras inside the main base. That is never a situation you want to be in. You want to try and limit the amount of ultras inside your main base as a Terran player. Just saying, it's not usually a good thing when you have ultras inside your main. Sheth deciding not to run in here. That might be a good thing to run in here because he can easily clean this up. But I think he's gonna he turns around to try and deal with this because this small group is doing way too much damage for the size of it. The fungals earlier are now, the damage done by the fungals are now all healed on all these units, and Sheth coming back here is gonna fungal this once again. Huge EMPs going down on the infestors, not gonna be able to fungal this. Nice split on Sjow, and I think this is the miracle he actually needed. A lot of banelings rolling up here. Sjow is not gonna pick up all of this. He is gonna get cleaned up. A few Ghosts actually decide to cloak, and since there are no fungals left, well, Sheth cannot actually detect these guys. Where is the closest overseer? I think it is very far away, so these these Ghosts are actually doing a lot of damage. Sheth did lose his gold base, he did lose his 4th, he lost his 5th, and meanwhile Sjow only lost his mined out expansion, his half mined out 3rd. He has been mining from his gold base throughout this entire event, and actually Sjow is not looking that bad. Sheth is only mining from his almost mined out 3rd right now. Meanwhile Sjow can drop mules on this 3rd base. You can see that the income is going to favor Sjow, 1,000 income to only 700. Sheth is trying to get his 4th base back. In the unit counting station, sorry, there are actually 33 lings and only 1 ultralisk compared to 15 marines. This is a small army for both these players. At this point, Sheth is actually going to transition into mulelists. I don't know how effective this is going to be. The main base actually has a lot of turrets. The gold base doesn't have any turrets, but his army, Show's army is here, so he can deal with mutas quite easily. And the muters are not going to do any significant damage unless he hits the third, this base here, without Show catching sight of the mutas. If he does catch sight of the mutas, he does see them now, so look for Show, if he was paying attention, to throw down a couple of turrets here. 2 mutas is not going to do anything. In the production tab, you can see that Sheth is only producing lings right now. His bank is mined out, and Sheth should actually focus on infestors right now. He has a lot of gas. Infestors are a great late game unit, especially when you get into these situations. Well, everyone always says it, but the reason is that the infestors actually replenish their energy, and it is free damage. You can use the infestors, send them back home, wait for them to get more energy, throw down more infested Terrans, and do a lot of damage that way. They are recyclable units. That means they are forever good, and they try and keep them alive, so they don't usually die. Meanwhile, Sheth is going to go for an infestor drop inside the 4th, 5th, 7th base. I hear a nuke somewhere. There it is, the nuke on the 4th base of Sheth. And does he realize this? He needs to pull away all the drones or everything's going to die here. And he does pull away just in time. That's what she said. That sounded very dirty. He pulled away just in time. Anyways, back to the game. 4 infestors inside the, I forgot to count, 5th, 6th base from Show. He's just waiting for that creep to actually recede, and there is also a burrowed ling here, so he's not going to be able to land this. Meanwhile, the infested Terran bomb is going to go down in just a second. Sheth, please throw it down so I don't look stupid. He is just gonna fungal everything, and fungal just is good, I guess. 2 fungals can kill a whole bunch of SCVs, and when you're this low on SCVs, there it is, the infested Terran bomb. I love this. This is the most beautiful thing to see in StarCraft. Let's just wait a moment to bask in how beautiful this is. And there you go, it's cleaned up. When you don't have that many harvesters, I mean, every single harvester counts, and he did kill a whole bunch of harvesters throughout this game. He killed 79 workers. 79 workers killed by Sheth, and there are no mutas on the field. Without mutas, that is a lot of damage done. And if you look at this big army by Sheth, he is actually rebuilding everything. Getting a nice army. Where is that nuke? On the 5th base. He does see it, so he is going to be able to pull away all the drones. Not going to lose anything, maybe a couple larvae, a couple creep tumors. He is going to snipe the queen, so small victory there, but no real damage done. The Overseer is going to get here. That ghosts and days are numbered. There you go, he dies, and it is now 147 to 118 supply in favor of Sheth. And this has been quite the weird game. Show losing a lot of army twice, then attacking with a very small, well, not very small group, but small group of units at the 4th, taking out the 4th and the 5th base. Meanwhile, Sheth counterattacked, took out the 2nd and 3rd base of Show that was barely mining anyways, and we are in this very calm before the storm situation where both these players just want to get their eco back up. Sheth pooping creep, preventing this command center from mining anything. And I wonder why Show actually dropped mules here. Mules mine over SCVs, so if you drop them here, it is closer to the command center than these patches. And since they mine over SCVs, it does not... Well, there is no downside in actually throwing down mules here instead of here. I guess he just didn't want to click on his minimap to watch this base. That is just wasted at 8 PM. And meanwhile, Sheth has 7 Broodlords. These 7 Broodlords are all alone on the map. That is not something you want to do. They are getting sniped by these ghosts. And where's the rest of the army? It was dealing with a small drop that was actually at the 5th base, and these broodlords all alone is actually very, very, very dangerous. Lucky for Sheth, there are no Vikings on the field, because one single Viking could just deal with this. Sieging up the gold base, not mining anymore, so that's actually not the biggest deal for Sjow. Sjow moving forward and sniping one more broodlord. So these broodlords, Sheth actually lost 2 broodlords and did not do any kind of damage right now. Sheth pulling back his army because there was a drop here, trying to take down the baneling nest, not being able to. But once again, we are in this very, very calm situation where both these players have half the map. Sjow is now just mining from these 2 left expansions. Sheth, meanwhile, is trying to get this gold base, and with the broodlords, this gold base is going to be very safe. You can just stage the broodlords up here, and there is no way that the Terran player can actually engage this efficiently. It does look like Sheth is starting to gear up for an attack. More Vikings being produced by Sjow, 2 at a time from the reactor starport in his main base, but these actually, he's not producing anymore. This might be a mistake by Sjow. I think he wants more Vikings in this. He does have the ghosts to deal with this, but with a nice fungal and baneling hits, these ghosts could just all die very, very fast. And here he goes. The ghosts are actually in front. He should cloak these so that they don't die. Nice EMPs, not nice EMPs, actually hitting almost nothing. And Sheth will clean this up, and my computer is lagging for some reason. Well, I am sorry about that. We got the gist of it. Sheth cleaned it up, is going to kill this planetary fortress that's not mining anyways, but Sheth has a lot of leftovers. He is 128 to 82 supply. He is producing 40 lings, and if you look at the unit counting station, there are 27 SCVs, 18 Marines, 2 Marauders, a nuke, and 3 Vikings against 102 lings, 1 Ultra, 3 Broodlords, and 7 Banelings, 2 Infestors. And there are planetary fortresses at this 9 o'clock base. One small drop gonna try and harass, but getting cleaned up very fast by Sheth, actually not being cleaned up completely. 3 Marines remain, but I mean, Sheth just has a huge army compared to the Terran player, and the Terran player just patrolling everywhere with the Viking, like landing one here, but Sheth is going to go for the death blow right now. He is going to try and bust this 5th base by Sjow, and if this goes down, there will be practically no mining left for Sjow, and I don't think he's going to be able to save this. I'm sorry to say, but there are almost no units on the field right now for Sjow. The Broodlords are attacking the 6th, 7th base. I can't even count anymore from Sjow, and now his income is going to drop to almost 0. His only mining base is this 3rd, almost mined out base. Sjow is going to desperately try and attack. That is a lot of medevacs. I think that's 1 medevac for every single Marine. There is actually 1 more medevac than there are Marines. So all these Marines have their personal healers. And hitting the gold base, but is that going to be enough? I mean, he is killing a couple of Harvesters. There are now 25 to 16 Harvesters. Talk about low econ game. And these medevacs are going to get away unless there's a big fungal here. I think this might be worth it for Sheth to actually kill all these medevacs. But once again, I have to say that Sheth has 125 3-3 cracklings. That is very, very powerful. His bank is depleted. Meanwhile, Sjow actually has quite the big bank right now. He can produce a lot of Marines, but will it be enough? Huge fungal on all the medevacs. He's going to fungal that again and again until they all die. And there you go. That was the last fungal for half of these medevacs. Gonna be able to pick off 3 more with the 1 final fungal. And I think this is Sheth's game. It is 118 supplied to 68. Sjow is not actually mining almost at all. He is throwing down a mule. 2 mules will get his income past the Zerg players momentarily, but I mean, that is just one huge Ling army for Sheth, and that is not even the Planetary Fortress. It is almost mined out. So this will go down very fast. That is not enough Marines. They are 3-3. They have their full upgrades, but I mean, just look at the amount of Lings right now. In the production tab, 2 Infestors for Sheth, 6 Marines in production for Sjow. These Vikings are being annoying. I don't think that Sheth is actually going to waste fungals on them. He needs to save those fungals for this huge pack of Marines. If he can get 1 fungal on this, the Lings are going to surround and kill it ever so fast. And Sheth is being very, very, very patient in this game. He is not pressing the issue, even though he knows that he can actually finish this quite fast. More Vikings patrolling everywhere. Sheth is well aware of everything that happens on the map. This drop is not going to do much, and Sjow can really not afford to lose any units right now. He needs to save this drop, and he does save it before the Infestors come. Infestors throwing down 3 infested Terrans and fungling 1 Viking. And this expansion actually did go down just now for Sheth. Not too big of a deal, but it's still 300 minerals, and in this very, very mineral restrained game, it might be important. These drones should actually start mining the gold base. A small drop at the gold base, catching Sheth off guard, gonna kill even more drones, and 29 workers remain. And look at this workers killed tab. It is 95 and 67 workers killed respectively for Sheth and Sjow. That is over 150 workers killed in this game, and we didn't even see mutas in the game. That is amazing. That is so many workers killed. Units lost, obviously favoring the Terran player. Well, because his opponent is a Zerg. I mean, losing 1 billion Lings is almost as worse as losing 4 Marines. That is how dispensable Lings are, and, well, morphing a couple of Banelings, but Sheth is just not mining anymore. Finally picking off this burrowed Ling, gonna be able to land this command center. And you can see that Sjow's income is at 0 right now, both in gas and minerals. And Sheth, Sjow actually trying to attack here, might be caught. No, he is not. A small drop gonna harass once again this 5th base that is not even complete yet by Sheth. The Infestors are actually in position to intercept the drop once it gets back. Sheth patiently waiting, and there it goes. The the Corruptors are going to pick off this drop, and that is going to be a small victory. No way that Sjow is going to do any kind of damage here with any more damage here with the drop. His only exile is to drop him, but he does not even do that. And once again, Sheth being maybe even a bit too patient in this game. I mean, there is nothing that Sjow can do. Sheth has been very stable in supply, just dealing with these drops, just trying to stabilize. Meanwhile, a small counterattack gonna go up here. I guess he did not realize that the only mining base is at the 9 o'clock position. Sjow trying to harass the gold base. He does manage to pick it off, but I think Sheth is actually going to engage here right now, and this is going to be it. If Sjow loses this army, why isn't Sheth fungling right now? I don't know. If Sjow loses this army, and he will, it is going to be GG. So look for the GG soon, because that was Sjow's entire army. It is 29 supplies to 86. 3 harvesters remain to Sheth's 24. Sheth is still mining. Sheth can get his gold base, this ultra. Did you ever notice how gruesome it is when ultras die? They split in half, and you can see the thorax just ripping apart, and it is quite disgusting. Anyways, this is Sheth's game, so thanks for watching, guys. We are waiting in the GG. There it is. Sjow leaves the game, and you can always look at the watch the NASL if you want to see game 1 and 3 of this best of 3 series. Thanks for watching, and tune in later. Look for promotional videos for that Gamecom headset if you want to win one. Remember, I don't have that many viewers, so your chances are good. Spread the word. Free headsets for everyone. Yay! Thanks for watching, guys.